Hi there, I'm Dash.
I'm Dave.
And this is the forge we built. Dave, why don't you tell them a little bit about it?
Okay, so we got a 5-gallon bucket that is all steel that we burnt out using a wheat burner thingy.
Wheat burner.
And then we lined it with some, what the hell is that stuff?
Fiber frax. Yes, and kiln patch.
And then shitloads of kiln patch. There's one fiber brick in there that we've cross-cut, much like a file almost, so that way we get more oxygen flow, or more even heat displacement throughout there. Then we made a stand for 2 burners, so that way it can easily be taken out. And then our burners are set up right now as Venturi burners, but we're eventually going to switch these over to forced gas.
Forced air.
Forced air. And got stainless steel tubing for the gas supply, simply because if we have anything that is really fucking hot and touch it with it, we don't want it to like melt and then we all die or anything like that.
The small things.
Tiny things.
Yeah.
Itty bitty things. So currently have it set up for like 4 or 5 psi, using our handy dandy little gauge there, which is beautiful, by the way.
Yeah. And this is the first maiden voyage, so we're all geared up a little heavier than we might be if we were just forging, just in case, you know, we did something wrong and it blows up. For added safety, we're just going to light a little piece of paper, put it in there, and then turn on the gas. That way we're not actually getting anywhere close to the fire. Here goes nothing.
Yeah. So, hoping for the best. You might never see us again. This might be our last message to the world.
Fire in, back. Woo!
Oh! Alright, so it looks like we don't have any leaks. Dash is slowly turning on the air. And it looks like we have an actual forge.
So we now turn on the second burner.
So now we have our 2 burners running.
Whoa! Yeah!
With the rockets of illumination going.
I'm pretty content with that.
Me too. So far we're not dead. It's good. We're gonna turn up the gas a little.
Sure. I see a good. Oh, you got really nice columns in there. Look at that heat.
Damn.
I'm gonna get it close up. You turn up the gas. Alrighty, so it's the end of day 2.
Yeah, and so we did a lot of fun and cool stuff.
It was a good weekend overall. We had a lot of success. We had 2 things to fix.
A couple little hiccups. So, in the matters of hiccups, our wonderful, handy-dandy little fire brick thing that was in there just kind of disintegrated.
Yeah, we had a flat bottom that we could rest anything we were working on, and it just wasn't hefty enough. So we're gonna have to replace that, but that's no problem.
Yeah, it's just kind of not there anymore, which is what I don't know where it went.
Yeah, it's.
I'm a little freaked out by that.
We'll figure that out later. Yeah.
So that happened.
Yeah.
It's weird, whatever. Then I tried to make a pair of tongs yesterday. We used very, very, very small rebar, more or less, and then caused the thing to snap in half when it was.
Oh, you can see this here.
Okay, you can just break that.
Just, I'm sorry.
It's cool. However,
So-
we actually do have a pretty fine grain structure.
Another success, fine grain structure. But on day 2, we did a couple things different. If you see here, step back, Dave, we added the forced air system that we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that really kicked up the heat, as well as sort of boxing in the front, so not as much was escaping, not as much heat was escaping.
And now we're actually able to run off of 1 psi of gas, which is pretty nice.
Yeah, really efficient.
And
It's really
getting up to like 412 temperatures, which are stupid hot approximately.
And we made some nice stuff.
Yeah. Oh, and yesterday we made a wonderful hot butter, which we actually used today, and it worked quite well.
Yeah, as well as a little hole punch. Both of these out of railroad spikes.
As well as rebar, surprisingly enough.
Good little
Probably couldn't
crazy.
guess that. And today, Dash made this monstrosity of a wonderful pair of tongs. It works.
Yeah, it works well enough. It's not the prettiest thing, but it's designed mostly to hold.
It didn't break, which is pretty cool. So
But it holds railroad spikes.
Railroad spikes quite well, so we'll be using that a lot in the coming weeks.
Yeah.
That's actually how
Dustin.
That's how Dustin actually forged out a railroad spike knife of his own. He's over there someplace. He's actually more or less a trained blacksmith, so I guess we can get some input from him.
And we already did. He taught us. He helped quite a bit when it came to bringing these tongs from the brink of.
That's destruction.
Mostly from my ineptitude. Not.
And then I also tried to make a pair of tongs, thicker gauge steel. Started to make a pair of tongs with a thicker gauge rebar thingy. So I mean, like the form is there.
Yeah.
The function isn't, because I cannot for the life of me figure out how to get these things aligned. So how it's supposed to work is you're supposed to be able to hold a piece like Anyway.
Tongs are hard. That's the summary of this
Yeah.
weekend. Tongs are.
It's supposed to grab them correctly and not drop them everywhere. So
Something to work on.
yeah. So I'm almost partial to just buying a couple pairs of tongs because
I think that'll be fine.
I think that might be worth it at this point. Because I just kind of want to get stuff moving.
But yeah. Well, and that's the complete summary of the first 2 days of the blacksmithing of D3.
Yeah.